How long have you been waiting for the perfect time? How many plans live only inside your head, never seeing the light of day? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, planning, dreaming over and over, but still waking up every day in the exact same place, feeling stuck? If that sounds familiar, then this story might feel a little too real. Her name is Jennifer, and for most of her adult life, she was an expert at waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting until she felt ready. Until the fear went away. Until everything made sense. She had notebooks full of ideas, saved posts, screenshots, podcasts, self-help books stacked next to her bed. But her reality looked exactly the same, month after month, year after year, until one day she realized something that hit her harder than anything else ever had. My life won't change until I stop thinking and start doing. And that moment, that single quiet realization, was the beginning of everything. Jennifer was always the smart one, the thoughtful one, the one who planned, analyzed, and over-prepared for everything. From the outside, people saw her as organized, responsible, maybe even ambitious. But what no one ever really noticed was how much of her life was spent living entirely in her head. She was constantly thinking about the life she wanted, but never actually living it. Every dream had a maybe later attached to it. Every goal started with, when I'm ready, but readiness never seemed to arrive. Her days were filled with endless mental checklists. I need to figure this out first. What if I fail? Maybe next month when things calm down. And while she told herself she was being patient, deep down it was fear, dressed up as logic. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not being perfect. So instead of taking messy, imperfect action, she became an expert at researching, planning, overthinking. Anything except actually starting. Have you ever felt that? Like you're always preparing, but never arriving? You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, but the truth is, the right time is just an excuse you've trained yourself to believe. That was Jennifer, trapped in her own mind, watching life happen for everyone else while hers sat on pause. And the worst part? No one around her questioned it. No one told her to stop thinking and start doing. People praised her for being careful, for being smart, for being patient. But behind that praise was a woman quietly breaking. A woman who was suffocating under the weight of her own expectations, waiting for a moment that was never going to come. Every day started the same. Jennifer would wake up, open her phone, scroll through endless posts about success, motivation, transformation, and whisper to herself, I really need to change my life. But then, reality hit. The job she didn't love, the routines that drained her, the familiar trap of, I'll figure it out tomorrow. And just like that, another day slipped away, looking exactly like the one before. Her notebook was filled with plans, lists titled Things to Start, My Dream Life, Steps to Change. But none of those pages ever turned into action. She would write down goals, then rewrite them the next week. Change the order, highlight them in different colors. It gave her the illusion of progress. But deep down, she knew the truth. She wasn't moving. She was just thinking, planning, waiting. Have you ever felt that hollow ache at the end of the day, where you're completely exhausted, but not because you moved forward? Exhausted from overthinking, from spinning in circles inside your own mind. That's where Jennifer lived, stuck between what she wanted and what she was too scared to start. And the days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Before she realized it, years had passed. Opportunities missed, ideas faded. Her biggest fear, wasting her life, was happening. Not because she failed, but because she never even gave herself the chance to try. It didn't happen during some grand event. There was no crisis, no breaking point. It was a Tuesday, quiet, ordinary. Jennifer was sitting at her kitchen table, her laptop open, coffee half cold, staring at yet another video titled, How to Change Your Life. She had watched videos like this hundreds of times before, but this time, something hit differently. As the speaker listed step after step, She suddenly caught herself thinking, I already know all this. I've known it for years. So why hasn't anything changed? And that question hit harder than anything else. Why isn't anything changing? Not because she didn't know what to do, not because she needed more information, but because knowing isn't the same as doing. Have you ever felt that sting? Realizing that you're not waiting for answers, you're waiting for yourself, waiting for courage, waiting for permission. But what if no one is coming to give you that permission but you? She sat there frozen, heart pounding, as a truth so simple it felt almost painful surfaced. My life won't change until I stop thinking and start doing. All the books, the videos, the courses, none of them could live her life for her. None of them could take that first, uncomfortable, imperfect step. And maybe you felt that too. Maybe you're sitting there, waiting for a sign, for a clear path, for someone to tell you it's okay to begin. But what if this is the sign? In that moment, Jennifer realized something else. Action doesn't come after confidence. Confidence comes after action. Waiting to feel ready? It's a trap. Waiting until the fear disappears? That day never comes. You don't get clarity from thinking. You get clarity from moving, from doing, from showing up, scared, imperfect, unsure, but showing up anyway. It wasn't some big magical transformation. Jennifer didn't wake up the next day suddenly fearless. She was still scared, still uncertain, but for the first time, she did something different. She grabbed her notebook, the same one where she had rewritten her plans 100 times, and flipped to a fresh page. This time, there were no categories, no color coding, no endless steps. She simply wrote one question at the top. What's the smallest thing I can do today? And that changed everything. She realized she didn't need to redesign her whole life overnight. She just needed to do one thing that moved her closer to the life she wanted. One email she had been avoiding. One conversation she kept postponing. One commitment to show up. Not perfectly, but fully. You ever notice how we convince ourselves that change has to be massive, when in reality it's just a collection of tiny, scary first steps? Her hands shook as she typed that email. Her stomach tightened when she scheduled that meeting. Her voice trembled during that phone call. But guess what? The sky didn't fall. The world didn't collapse. And slowly, something shifted. The voice in her head that always whispered, "You can't," grew quieter. Because action, even the smallest kind, drowns out fear like nothing else. Have you ever waited, telling yourself, "I'll start when I'm ready," only to realize readiness is a lie you've been sold? Jennifer saw it clearly now. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for confidence. You don't wait for the fear to leave. You move, and then the fear learns it can't control you anymore. And here's the truth. No one tells you. The first steps are the messiest, the ugliest, the most uncomfortable. They're never clean, never perfect, but they are the most powerful. Because every small action Jennifer took, no matter how insignificant it seemed, was proof that she wasn't stuck anymore. She wasn't just thinking about her life. She was finally living it. Jennifer's life didn't transform overnight into some picture-perfect dream. No, it evolved quietly, slowly, but powerfully. The woman who used to drown in overthinking was now someone who made decisions, not perfectly, but decisively. She stopped waiting to feel ready. She stopped needing to be 100% sure. She started living in a simple rule. If it scares me, but it grows me, I do it anyway. And that alone changed everything. Her mornings became sacred. Instead of waking up to scroll, overthink, and spiral into anxiety, she began her days with one question. What can I do today? That moves me forward. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Some days it was small, like making a phone call, sending an email, or saying no to something that didn't align with her. Other days, it was bolder, like signing up for that course, applying for the job she thought she wasn't good enough for, or finally starting that side project she had talked about for years. And do you know what happens when you start acting instead of thinking? Life starts responding. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. People show up. Opportunities appear, not because the universe magically delivers them, but because you finally start moving toward them. Jennifer realized that clarity doesn't come from sitting and thinking. Clarity comes from action, from doing, from trying, from failing, from learning, from adjusting, from learning. Have you ever noticed how the scariest things are always the ones that matter the most? Jennifer had lived years paralyzed by, what if it doesn't work? But now, her mindset shifted. It became, what if it does? And even if it didn't, even if it failed, she learned something far more valuable. Failure is still forward. Every messy, imperfect attempt was teaching her how to become the version of herself she had always dreamed of. Not by thinking about her, but by being her. Her relationships change too. When you stop overthinking, you start setting boundaries. You stop saying yes just to avoid discomfort. Jennifer started spending time with people who energized her, not those who drained her. She stopped explaining herself. She stopped apologizing for choosing herself. She stopped needing external validation, because now her validation came from within, from the evidence of her own action. And maybe the most beautiful part, for the first time in years, she felt free. Not because life became easy, not because fear disappeared, but because now, fear no longer made the decisions. Action did. Movement did. Progress did. And Jennifer's message, and the one you need to hear right now, is simple. Your life won't change until you stop thinking and start doing. The only way out is through, and the only way forward is to begin. So maybe it's time to stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if this works? Because the truth is, your life won't change while you're trapped in your head. No book, no video, no podcast will change it for you. Only you can do that. Thinking keeps you stuck. Doing sets you free. And just like Jennifer, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just need to start. One small, scary, imperfect step at a time. That's how transformation begins. That's how you take your life back. And if this story lit something inside you, there's another one you need to hear. It's about a woman who spent her days cleaning offices and her nights quietly studying, pushing herself when no one was watching, until one day, the CEO discovered her secret. What happened next changed her life forever. You'll find that story right here, on the left side of your screen. Go watch it now. It might be exactly the push you need today.